Okay, it's 7 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. We'll do roll call. Vanderbrink.
Here.
Page.
Here.
Krieger.
Here.
Enkirk.
Here.
Gallops. Gretzky.
Here.
Sorensen here. Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
Oh, Tom got it. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. No public comment. Secretary's report. We have the April regular meeting minutes were Doug's last minutes, and then Mark did the special April meeting minutes. So you can either choose to approve them together or separately, whatever your pleasure is.
I'll move to approve the minutes of both the first and the second.
Second.
Both Doug's notes and Mark's notes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Is there any discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, we have a special order of business. We have Riley number 2 in the house today, because Riley number 1 is the videographer. Have at it.
All right, so nice to be back. My name is Riley Hutter. I'm a manager with CLA. I have over 8 years of experience with working with municipalities and special districts like yourself with auditing and consulting work. So I am going to go through the governance communication letter, your financial statements, and kind of go through some of our year-end reporting requirements with you. So I am going to start with the governance communication letter, which is the letter in the first, that is actually
The
part,
loose one?
yeah, the loose letter as a part of your packet. So this governance communication letter goes through all the items that we're required to disclose to you as governance. A lot of very standard language in here, so I'm going to kind of touch on the key pieces that I think you should be aware of. Start out with accounting policies. Sometimes this note changes as we implement new GASB standards. This year, there was no new accounting policies or standards that were implemented. Accounting estimates. This discloses if there are estimates within your financial statements. There are none, and again, it's consistent, or no significant estimates, which is consistent with last year. No difficulties encountered during the audit, no uncorrected misstatements. Uncorrected misstatements being things that we find throughout the audit process that might not be adjusted on your books. So everything has been corrected or adjusted, and there are none of those. On page 2 of this is corrected misstatements, which I will touch on a little later, a little more in detail as well. We have 4 items listed here. The first 3 being very standard journal entries that we typically make each year with the Wisconsin retirement system, depreciation expense, asset disposals, and then the 4th being the significant journal entry that we recorded. And you will see a finding later on for this, but there was a reversal of 2026 municipal fees. And we talked through that with Heather and Ellen, and I think that'll be corrected going forward. So overall, very, very minimal journal entries. I think we've seen improvement each year over the past few years, which is great, and what we expect to see.
We've been trying.
Yes, I know you've been trying, and it's there's always new things each year that come up, but overall, I think they've really been decreasing, and that's what we want to see as auditors and as governance. So. No other disagreements that we encountered through the audit, and your financial statements do include some supplementary information. That's what this last paragraph goes over. The second piece of this stable booklet is the management rep letter. That is where management basically says that these are your financial statements, and they're taking responsibility for the financial statements that we're preparing on your behalf. So again, very standard, similar to last year, nothing new in here. Then I'm going to move on to your actual financial statement booklet, starting with page 1. So overall, I guess the main end product of an audit is to issue an opinion over your financial statements. So our basis for opinion is that it is materially correct, and the unmodified opinion, which is the highest and best opinion that you want to be seeing each year, and again consistent with prior years, which is great. Again, very standard language, but the opinion being the most important piece of that independent auditor's report. Any questions at all so far?
Just one, kind of goes back to the first part that you went over. Did you guys look through segregated duties? And if so, was there any flags there, or any changes that were made, or were recommendations were made from that?
Yeah, I can actually get into that.
That's
I'll go over that right now before we get into some financial statement numbers. This is actually at the end of your booklet, page 32. This is as a part of our opinion, we also look at internal controls over financial reporting and internal controls over compliance. So there are 3 findings, the same 3 findings as last year and the year before. But these first 2, so annual preparation of your annual financial report, that I'd expect to see every year. That's because we are preparing the financial statements on your behalf, and really it isn't possible or feasible for Heather to prepare the entire book here on her own. It's very efficient for us to compile this and put everything together, but this is very similar to what I see, I guess, with all municipalities of your size. So nothing to be worried about with that, and I would expect to see it going forward. The second finding here is segregation of duties. I know you've been working hard on segregation of duties and trying to separate as much as you can, get checks and reviews over expenses, receipts, things like that. And you have made improvements that we've noticed throughout the audit process. But again, just being with how limited your staff is here, it really isn't, again, feasible to segregate duties in a manner where this finding would go away. So we have noticed, you have made great improvements on doing what you can to segregate duties as much as possible, which again is great, and that's what we want to see going forward. Finding number 3 here is adjustments to district's financial records, and this is really a finding if we have to make a significant journal entry during the year. And really there was only one of them, which is great. I think that in past there's multiple significant adjustments that we make through the audit process, and this year down to 1. So
I think, isn't Riley wasn't that a continuing practice that we as a district had been doing?
Mm-hmm.
That we had the conference call and now correcting, and what it was is the bill goes out, you guys pay your bills too fast. The bill goes out for the municipalities, and then you send a check in the fiscal year that the invoice went out, when it's supposed to be posted.
You have to hold them and
Yeah,
post them
now
next year.
we'll just hold them and post them in the year that you're sending them for. Does that make sense?
Well, we can hold it.
You can hold it if you want, yeah. We have to deposit in January.
Yeah.
That's when, because it's for that fiscal year.
And I try to get everything in at the end of the year because I want to get everything off my desk that needs to be off my desk. So,
Do they operate it as an accrual basis or a cash basis?
Well, we do cash basis month to month. At the end of the year, we've been running both accrual and cash.
Well, yeah, because you got it covered.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's really that 2026 revenue that was being recorded in the fiscal year,
Right.
when really it should be.
And
That
and
makes
the
sense.
reason, the reason we do it this both ways is because in prior years, before Heather took over, it was only accrual basis. And so we were seeing things that really weren't matching up with what was truly going on. And so that's why we do cash basis during the year, and then we can do an accrual and cash. She runs 2 reports at the end of the year for us to see.
On those invoices, would it make sense to maybe just make a note on them, just as they go to the municipalities, that, go ahead and pay this, but it won't be, the due date isn't until this time, so then it won't be posted until that month after.
just because I don't want to screw up their books either. When they're
Right.
trying to close out their books at the end of the year,
Right.
so.
Right.
Or just, or invoice later too.
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah,
It's an easy
Something we
fix,
can-
it's
yep.
just,
Yeah.
it's
Just
just,
deciding what.
it's
we
one
do
of those
specifically.
practices
Yeah.
that had been held over.
Yep.
so.
But simple fix.
Mhm.
Yeah, not a complex issue or
No,
journal
not at all.
entry, very simple. So, and again, that one, we'd expect it to go away, and that's a really good improvement if you can correct that and only be down to those 2 findings. The segregation of duties and preparation of annual financial report are, very common, and so, yeah, nothing to be worried about with those. So then kind of going backwards here onto page 6. Yeah, back into the numbers. So page 6 here, statement of net position. The main, I guess, highlight I want to kind of go over here is your cash and investments balances at year end, and then your total net position at year end. So cash and investments did increase from about 191,000 to 216,000. And I know, from a budgeting standpoint and from your standpoint, the cash balances are a huge number just to be aware of, and that those did increase throughout this past year. And then some of these other items, your capital assets will fluctuate depending on depreciation, what you purchase throughout the year. Everything else in here is very similar. So I just want to move on to page 7 then. And this is your statement of revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. So bottom line here is your change in net position did decrease about 134,000.
And that's depreciation.
Most of that is your depreciation. So if you look on the top operating revenues lines, your operating revenues did increase from 530,000 to 541,000. So slight increase there. Your operating expenses did increase as well, about from 655,000 to 680,000. Some small fluctuations in your non-operating revenues and expenses, but yeah, nothing overall significant there. So I guess overall contributing to that decrease in your net position is your expenses are exceeding your revenues by about 138,000. So that's where the overall decrease comes from. Moving on to page 8, your statement of cash flows. This kind of shows how your cash was used or provided throughout the year. Net cash provided by operating activities, $360. Slight change compared to previous years. Nothing that really sticks out there. The line that sticks out to me the most is you purchased capital assets in the previous years, so that used up a lot of your cash. This year, no significant purchases of capital, which kind of led to that increase in cash overall. And then you'll see there's adjustments to reconcile cash down here, and a non-cash item is your depreciation. That's where that 138,000 comes into play. So,
And that's everything, that's the building and all the equipment.
yep. So overall, without the depreciation number, your net cash change was only $360. Going through, I think I'm going to skip through a lot of the footnotes. Most of this is standard wording that really has not changed throughout the past couple of years. There's a lot of these pages are your Wisconsin Retirement Pension Plan notes that take up probably about 10 pages. So nothing has really significantly changed there. A lot of standard language related to pension. And then we get to your supplementary information, which is your budget to actual. And just wanted to highlight a few things on this schedule, and that's on page 27. So this is where you can compare your actual expenditures to what you budgeted. Overall, your total personnel services was about $43,000 under budget. Your contractual services almost spot on, $3,400 over budget. And then materials and supplies of about $16,000 under budget. And then your other expenses, about $19,000 or $20,000 under budget. And that's where you'll see really your depreciation line in there too of $138,000. So if you take that out, you really did have a pretty good year compared to budget. Your overall expenses were under budget, and I feel like you do a very good job of trying to manage expenses as you can, but just something to be aware of. Yep.
And I think to me that's really kind of our goal should be to set the budget and then make sure that we are following the budget as we operate and continue throughout the year, because there are so many other things that we don't control, like taxes and costs of things and all of that. But I think it just goes to show that we are getting better over time to understand where our expenses are and where our revenues are, and so that we're actually making them match. We understand where things are coming out and going in. Is that fair to say?
Yes, I definitely have seen that, over the past couple of years, and it reflects then when we look at this final report. So, any other questions?
I did have one. It was kind of way back here. I just saw quickly that we use the straight line depreciation on our vehicles as well as like the building and other assets. And is that a common? It seems strange to me to use straight line for a vehicle, knowing that it loses so much value, early on. But from a municipal, organizational standpoint, I guess that's probably not super surprising.
And that's gonna change a lot when we get that new engine.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
gonna be a big
yes.
swing.
Yeah. I will say straight line is very common for what I see. The vehicles have a short life overall anyway, so you might see that, if it was changed, you might see that change right up front, but overall, if you have a 5-year life on a vehicle, I don't think you would notice too much of a difference really in the depreciation.
Well, like a regular vehicle, the total amount of, even like I don't know, the rapid response, I mean, compared to the building and every other, that's just a smaller slice, so even if you change it a lot, it just doesn't reflect into the overall view as that, okay.
Yeah, I'd say it's straight line is very common from what I see, so.
Easier to account for as well.
Did you have a question, Tom?
No.
Okay. You look like you were thinking about something.
Really? Well, that's good.
Okay, if there are no other questions for Riley, I think we need to accept the audit. So is there a motion to accept the audit?
I'll make a motion to accept the audit as presented.
There's a second. Okay, thank you, Gary. Any further discussion? And I hope it's becoming easier for you all to do the audit.
Yeah, no, and you know, it's done and issued, and I think, you know, that reflects on, you know, how clean things have been and how the improvements that you've made, and you know, it's great to see from our standpoint how improvements have been made. So definitely appreciate that and appreciate all of your work. So.
All those in favor of accepting the audit report, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. The audit is accepted. Thank you. And it's much earlier this year
Yes.
than it was
Yep.
last year. I think we were in the fall
Oh,
last
yeah,
year.
we're like November, I think, October.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
late.
I came here in the cold.
Why
I know
we're doing
that.
it again.
What?
Yeah.
We did just do it. Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Okay, let's move on to the treasurer's report. Heather sent out the budget versus actuals, and then the bills and applied statements.
If you notice on this one, on the bills and applied payments, they must have done an upgrade to QuickBooks because now all of a sudden they're putting on your, the ACHs, like the gas and electric and the cable and the internet. It says check, but it wasn't done by a check. So I'm still figuring out how they're doing that part. But they're now on here for some reason. I don't know how that happened.
It's magic.
I ran the report and they were on there, I was like,
Counting magic.
No,
so,
they did update it.
and other stuff got updated because I went in one day and it was like all different. And I'm like, this is all, but so it's on there now, so.
So this is through the first 4 months, right?
Yes,
And so we're at $50,000 to the good. Right now, that's good. Because we still have more money coming in throughout the year.
Just for, I apologize in advance, because probably the first few meetings I'm gonna be asking questions just so I can get more institutional knowledge. Is there a time, outside of like purchasing, you know, fire trucks or engines or stuff, is there a time that there happens to be larger expenses during the year? Like it's like, oh, the month of November, we always have this thing that costs a whole bunch of money, or is it just routine costs and there's?
usually routine costs, like the big thing that we have is the DOT testing, and that was done, it's not on here because the bills haven't come due yet, but that was just done the end of April. So that's, that's like a big chunk of money, but that's all budgeted
Sure.
for every year.
It's also difficult because we've been doing a lot of catch-up
Yeah.
on fixing systems. I think
Yeah.
you just did the heating system, which hadn't worked for many years.
That was
And,
November.
yeah, and then, so the other issue is we're gonna wanna talk about a new fob system. So a lot of these things are not budgeted because we are not aware of what's failed. or what hadn't. A lot of the problem is when we find out it's failed, what happens is the upgrades hadn't been done. The software upgrades hadn't been done. So we don't know.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I
we
don't think
hope that we don't have any big
Yeah.
things.
Right, I only ask just because like, just in like prior boards I've served on, it's like, oh yeah, we're like running under budget, but then they always know there's a huge expense
Oh,
that hits, like.
yeah.
That's what I was just curious, if there's anything
Yeah.
like that that lingers every year, so. No, thank you.
When does insurance come out? Do we do that as a yearly?
That's in the fall, but we were gonna go out for an RFP
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
insurance, and that comes out in the
Well,
fall.
some of it was paid, because if you look at it, we paid 20,000 of it already.
But that's for this year.
Right, that's for this year.
We are
so
going out
it
for
hits-
RFP for next year.
Right, yeah, that hits in January, so most of it hits in January. We've got one insurance bill that comes towards
I thought there were
middle.
two in the fall, one in
Yeah.
December and one like.
Because you have the hail and wind comes
Yeah.
due, and then one of the other ones, I'd have to go look.
Sure.
Maybe it's workman's comp.
It could be.
It's one of them, but the big, the VFIS came due the beginning of the year. That's why we've already paid that.
That was an example of something that
Right.
Yeah.
budgeted and
Yeah.
a larger
And
expense.
it's an odd expense. It took me a long time to get, I couldn't figure out why it was split in three ways, because then, again, using accrual, we were getting financial reports that didn't make any sense because it hadn't been paid. So that's why we're doing it this way.
And then speaking of insurance, we got a check back from the insurance company for $514 because we took engine 11 off the old engine 11 off of yes, thank you, the policy. And so they refunded us that
But we're gonna
portion.
have to add
But then
a
we're gonna
new
have to add,
one.
yes, I will be calling her tomorrow and adding the new one on.
Do we have the money for the new one yet?
No.
Okay, we can't get the truck until we give them the check, so
So,
everybody knows.
so yeah. So like once I get everybody, the municipalities' checks,
You got yours?
yeah.
I don't know, did the city send theirs
No,
yet?
but I will be going down to City Hall tomorrow for
Okay.
staff meeting, so I'll check my mailbox down
Good.
there. And then,
Yeah, I went down there to help with the search, and somebody handed me a pack of mail, and there was money in there. I was like, whoa, good.
yeah, I kind of forget what this one. Speaking of saving money, seeing we're on the treasurer's report, Cooper and I went through, and Chief Engineer Cooper and I went through one Friday when he was here, because we had boxes from Spectrum that were just kind of like all over the place. And so he called Spectrum and he had them taken off. And our normal bill was $387.78. And our May bill will be $250, which gives us a savings of $137.78. And then June through December for the rest of this year will be $215 a month, which is a savings of $172.78 a month. And then if you add all that together, for the total savings for this year, from this point going forward, it's $1,347.24. Then we also were like, well, we're cleaning that up, let's check and see what's going on with the Verizon bill. So we went around and we took down all the phones that were not being used. Yeah, so our Verizon bill was $305.75 in the past. May's bill will be $75.60, which is a savings of $230.15 for that month. And then June through December will be $160.30 will be our bill, which is a savings of $145.45 a month, which is a total of savings of $1,248.30 for the Verizon bill, which if you add those two together, it's a yearly savings this year of $2,595.54.
So it's a total savings of over $3,000 between Verizon and Spectrum? No?
$2,500
$2,500 total?
total,
Okay.
total for the Spectrum and the Verizon.
Okay,
So,
good job.
so yes, a lot of help to Engineer Cooper being on the phone.
Okay, are there any questions regarding the accounts payable and treasurer's report?
make a motion to approve both of those.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tom. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay, Chief's report.
First thing on here is hires. Probably a couple, 3 weeks ago, we interviewed a gentleman from Princeton. His name is Jacob Rail. Firefighting is in his family over there, from his grandpa to his dad and now him. He just passed his firefighter 1 certification, which we were kind of waiting on, so we could get him on as soon as we could. So he will be a day shift candidate, and I guess we'd like to put him on as soon as we can.
So I would entertain a motion to have him go ahead and hire this person, Mr. Jacob Rail.
I'll approve the hire of Jacob.
Okay,
I'll second it.
thank you, Tom. Any discussion? Is it rails or rail?
Rail.
Rail, okay, thank you. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Next order on here is the boilers. We kind of talked about that earlier, about expenses. Boilers have been updated. The makeup air as well has been updated and is working correctly for the fresh air, so there's no carbon monoxide or anything like that in the building. So those have all been fixed, updated, and working. And the boilers have been shut off for the season now, so that's saving us a little money on the budget with heating. So I don't think we need to probably put it on there anymore. That could probably be taken off or even leave it
How
on.
much was it total? Do you remember?
$3,900
$110. It's on here for
Oh, it's, okay.
brewery. It was
$3,900.
the exact, yeah, it was the exact amount of the estimate.
Okay, does that mean the bay floor is not heated anymore too?
It is,
It is still heated?
yes.
No,
No?
well,
But
not, we shut the heat off to the floor because
right,
it's
that's what I
warm
was
enough out,
asking.
yes.
because it's warm enough out, so we shut everything off.
Okay,
But
good.
yeah, everything is and was working as of 3 or 4 weeks ago when we shut it off.
Okay, great. Thank you.
April calls, you got a list here for the 2026 April calls. There was quite a few of them this month. Total was 34. 15 of those were on the day shift. You can see we participated, and actually our numbers here and on there as well, as we participated in a college find-out run, which we do every year. Did a evacuation training with a local church and a pet facility in the district. And at the end of April of 2025, calls were 29 for the month and 111 for the year. We are down this year by 5 calls from last year at this time.
And that is probably, were we doing lift assists yet last year at this time?
We always do, we always do lift assist.
Depends if we have the
doing a lot.
reoccurring-
But we don't,
reoccurring.
but no, we didn't have the reoccurrings
Okay.
anymore
Right.
at this, yeah. No.
That's good, because I think we were ahead last fire calls with them.
Any questions on the monthly report? Next on here is donations, action item.
We have an anonymous donation of $3,000.
Yes, and we have a Seneca donation of $900. And then we have a donation from Chief Hollitz of $214 for having the tires changed out on 60.
What was the first one, 3,000?
$3,000 from our friendly anonymous donor.
Wow. It's very nice.
I'll make a motion to approve.
The 3,000
Accept.
and the
900.
900 and the $214
Mhm.
donations. Here a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tom. Any discussion?
Thank you very much. All of
Were
those.
there
Yes,
any
sir.
restrictions on any of those donations?
No, we'll just holidays because
Well,
he's
yeah,
already paid for
because
it.
it's been tires. That
Yeah.
one's done, that's
But yeah,
more like,
but-
yeah.
Yeah, but the 3,900 had no restrictions.
No, but we are budgeted to have them, and we do a $5,000
Right.
line for donations as part of the operating budget.
I was just going to say again publicly, thank you, anonymous donor, thank you, Seneca, and thank you, Chief Collins.
No problem.
That's what I was gonna ask, anonymous donor, obviously, we can't like.
Call.
Yeah,
Call them out,
and-
yeah.
But yeah, like.
Identify.
We
yeah.
have ways of thinking.
Yeah, whoever you are, thank you. For like Seneca and like other donors, do we ever like just like send just a letter, just like?
Yep.
Okay.
I sent a card.
Yep. Yep, it's good to
Well,
acknowledge.
mail one out to anonymous and then see where it goes.
You can give anonymous to me.
Pass it on.
Yeah, I'll pass it on.
And the last thing on here is fire inspections. I talked to Mike the other day on those. He is on track. I know he's out doing them because he stopped at my place of employment and did me. So I know they're out and about working on fire inspections when they can.
You found a lot of things at your place, right?
I had zero issues.
And you're
Gotta
getting
find at
good, you're
least
getting
one.
good feedback from businesses?
Yes, Heather wasn't, I don't remember the
Um,
business, but they called or emailed and said that they were very happy
It was- I was
from,
at a meeting.
you're at a meeting,
I had
so.
to think about, the school district.
School district, wow.
I was at a meeting with the school district and he said that it went very, very well. It was very educational. They worked together to solve some problems and it was a joy working with the crew. And it was 2 or 3 of them. And 2 of them were one of our newer firefighters and then one's our youth apprenticeship that went on the inspection. And it was a joy to watch them because they were excited going through the schools that they went to school at. And they got to see behind the scenes.
Huge.
So,
Good to hear.
Yeah. My comment on that is, no news is good news for that, business is normal, but some good news is great news, I think, so that's.
And it's not typical. It's
Yeah.
not typical for somebody to stop you
Come
and say,
back,
what a
yeah.
great
Mhm.
job.
Yep,
Okay, thank you.
good job to that team.
Yeah. Chief Clone.
All right, we do not have any SOPs or SOGs. My goal is to have some, we did complete all the administrative ones, so I think we were starting to work in some of the operational ones, and so hopefully my goal next time is to have a few ready to go. The grant, the last one was the Department of Safety and Professional Services grant for our recruiting from the high school, and so we are working, Chief Hollis and I are working on setting up. They had emailed us and they're looking for, when they do like the large check here at the
Oh, you
fire
wanna do a
station.
picture. Okay.
And they want to do a photo op, so we're
Great.
just, I think Chief Hollis needs that, we're gonna call him tomorrow and set that up with the person that does that.
Yeah, and I see that the 2,900 has already been deposited. And do we accept it at the last meeting?
Yes,
I believe so.
Great.
so that's the only grants that are on the,
What's that, 2,900 or 25?
It was 2,500.
Oh,
I think.
I have
and
25
that's,
here.
I saw 29,
Oh,
but
then he must,
I don't
That might
remember
be
exactly what it
something
was, it's something close to that.
29, I think, was that meter we were gonna get for the Webster grant.
Oh, that could be.
oh, I bet
no,
you're
that was
right.
2,500.
I bet you're right.
also.
Was it
That was 2,500.
Okay, then I saw something else.
All right, so some of the things that we've been working on, training, last night we had called TIM training, so traffic incident management class, so that's how we perform safely out on the roadway, highway, street. We had a state patrol sergeant from Wisconsin State Patrol come and he did the class last night. It was almost 4-hour class, so very thorough. And I think in the future, I asked after the class if he would come back and do a tabletop exercise with the fire officers. They would lay out streets and then we would have to position vehicles and apparatus on a map.
Do you do that in conjunction with DPW? at all?
That would be, we
Because-
talked about having
yeah.
police, ambulance, and do a whole,
Because we,
yes.
at Fond du Lac County, we would always have the highway, the sheriff's department
Yep,
there, and
exactly.
everybody else.
Yeah, because they do play, some smaller roles, sometimes it can be a larger role, but.
Well, but
it would be a-
incident command too. I mean,
Correct.
Getting everybody working on the same page
Yes,
helps.
yes, for sure. So we had that last night. Just doing a little bit of updating of the strategic plan. We did
I'm gonna get you a copy.
firefighter Schmidt and I did Fox Valley Tech Career Day. Ripon High School had a career day, so the day staff had set up a table and met with a bunch of the kids. They got to try on gear. I did 2 sessions of, they were about 20-minute talks, students that would come into the room that wanted to learn about the fire service. I did a PowerPoint and walked through that. They asked some questions. So that was nice to be doing that in the high school. So we're working on some junior firefighter guidelines with the grant that we have. What else do we do? Oh, the officer training, the chiefs, I was not here at the last one, but the chiefs did some scenario-based problem solving. So they took crews out and did size ups. They took out the command vehicle so they could do communication and things like that. So, and then the last thing is we are working on the lieutenant exam. So the only thing we're waiting for is, the goal is to meet with the applicants, and was there 4 or 5? I don't remember. Either way, we're gonna meet with
There's
them
4.
next
There's 4.
Tuesday is the goal.
Yeah.
To just share with them what is part of the process, so that everyone's on the same page. It's gonna be, we have a written part of it, the interview, a scenario-based part, employee issue part, and then the 5th one is they need to come up with a fire department issue and how they would solve it. And we might be able to use it, or we may not, but at least then we can, learn from them too, is things that we need to work on,
Well,
so.
it helps analyze critical thinking skills
Yes,
too.
yep, so, anyway, I figured there'd be 5 parts, we'd be 20% on each part, or we can figure out that, but we also the chiefs talked about having an outside, chiefs from neighboring departments be part of the process and doing the grading and the listening to the interviews and things like that, so the goal is to get some dates from the candidates so that we can ask the area chiefs, give them times if they were able to participate. So it's moving along. The only thing we need to work on yet is just to put together the written part of it. Most of the questions from the last test are pertinent, but there's some that are not, and so we're just adding a couple questions. But the other parts are all set to go, and it's just a matter of meeting with the candidates and getting those dates set for the process.
Question,
Yes.
how many are you looking to for promote?
If they're doing one on each on the battalions, I think there's 3 openings currently of the 4 or 5 that put in. So we also talked about, and again, it's not up to me, but we also talked about that there is 4 or 5. We might be able to utilize them as some kind of mentorship, and then so that, we obviously will choose the 3 and put them in their lieutenant position, but whoever doesn't get those 3 positions, the other 2 could be mentored and be maybe a move-up role or something like that, so that they stay active, and those would be our future lieutenants, because we also need captains, right? And so assuming the lieutenants, put their time in, move up to captains, now we already have a couple of lieutenants ready to go, so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have the strategic plan electronically yet?
Yes.
Could you send an electronic copy to Luke and David Gallup so that they can
Absolutely.
see
Yep.
what we did?
Yeah, for sure.
Great. Anything else, Chief?
Nope, that's all I have.
Okay, so we're gonna move on to new business. We have to do the election of officers. And we can do them one at a time, or we can do a slate. What is your preference?
All together?
Okay. We'll do, is there a nomination for president?
I would like to nominate Ellen Sorensen for president, if she's willing to accept it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank Thanks, Gary.
I don't think you need a second on nominations. Just like-
I don't have to say it 3 times either.
No.
I know that. Just, I get tired of people doing it 3 times. Is there a nomination for vice president?
I'll nominate him.
I'll
Okay.
accept that nomination, thank you.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. And secretary treasurer? And I don't think we better do Dave.
We should do Davies.
I know, that's what I usually do, but I'm afraid that isn't gonna work. But I would like to nominate you because you're a finance guy.
I absolutely did not want you to.
So you're not gonna accept?
If no one else is willing to do it, I will fall on the sword.
Okay.
I would second the nomination, even if it's not necessary.
Is anybody else gonna, does anybody else want to be the secretary treasurer?
Anybody else?
Don't all talk at once.
I just wanted to say, that was, if you wanted to split them up again, originally, I don't think it was ever adopted that it had to be a secretary treasurer. We did it because when Jim, he had his computer and he said he'd do it.
Oh,
And at one time, actually, we did hire a secretary to take notes, because people felt that, when we were trying to put the fire district together and all that, you couldn't pay attention to what was going on and take notes and do that all the
I
same
think
time.
we have to check the bylaws though, too. It might be that it's still separated.
It might be, I don't see any, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, I'm just saying, if
was
somebody wanted to
separate
be
at one
treasurer
point,
and
yeah.
somebody wanted to be secretary,
Let's leave it this way for now, and then we can
That's
go back
fine.
and address it.
yeah, and I don't have a problem
Well,
with
and thank you
this.
for sharing that.
But I was just saying that, and you know, with the film and the notes and stuff, it's not as bad as it used to be either. So,
Does anybody have a software where we could record it and then plug it into the computer to, you know, put it into words? Like written?
Well, you probably actually could just record it and just use it. Throw it into AI and probably do it at this point.
So.
Let's see, let's investigate that a little bit.
I use, and I did use the voice notes, just
Yeah.
the memo tool on my phone to record just the voice. The problem is that it's really not great. I had to just go back and listen to quite a few parts because the transcription is not super good.
Okay.
But it did help quite a bit. So that's
Okay.
probably.
Why don't we just leave it as it is right now? We'll figure out what really we need you as is the treasurer, because you understand finances.
You're really talking that a lot, right?
And,
We're supposed to set low expectations going into
well, you've got me, so you've got pretty low
okay.
expectations.
I
All
think we
right.
hit the expectations that we set as well,
Yeah.
so let's aim a little higher.
Okay, is there an overall motion to accept the slate of officers?
I'll move.
Thank you, Tom. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mark. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
it.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. Okey dokey, we're gonna move on to the fob system. Do you want this handed out?
Yeah, that whole ring of trees. If I didn't give you guys information, though, you'd be asking for more.
This wasn't in the job description for secretary treasurer.
No, you're doing this one out
Oh my
of
gosh.
your,
Yeah.
These are two different things? Put one on his.
Thanks, sir. Pass one and pass it down.
This is your vote, Tom.
There's two different ones. There's this one,
It's a small one.
record controls, and then this one.
so we're supposed to have three?
I think.
A
there's
total of
coming.
4, actually.
Five, total of five.
Total of 5. Yep, I'm missing one.
One.
It's on its way.
Still coming.
Yep, it's coming
Here's
around.
your,
I think I'm missing.
yep, there you go.
This one, you've got that one.
I got five.
Thank you.
Yep, those are
It's
five.
there.
All right.
I think we should just take a moment and go over
What we have.
what we have. Well, if you want to.
For Luke, just because you're new on the board, what's happened is we noticed the deficiency in the key fob system. Not that it's not working, it's working the way it is currently, but the computer that this program from Accurate Controls it's installed on is essentially a power cycle away from not working anymore. Because we ended up going through Windows updates, we needed all new computers in the fire station. Well, the program that Accurate Controls installed, I don't know, back probably when Saul was early. I don't know how long ago that was. They did a one and done type deal where they installed the software, got the licensing, but that was it. Well, with that software update, or the software comes with updates, but that's with the licensing that's renewed every month or yearly. We never got around doing it because we didn't really know anything about it. So I've been treading through the waters trying to figure out how to manage this system because I don't know anything about the key fob system. So I noticed the efficiency with that computer because we have issues trying to add or move or gain or deny access to doors. It takes forever to get in the computer system to adjust anything. So I started asking questions, and they're like, yep, your computer system is pretty much obsolete. So here we are. Accurate Controls, if you want to pull that one up. So this is the original company that installed it. Obviously, they're local to Ripon. That quote is for a battery backup system for the key fob. And all these quotes are for the exact same thing. That's one thing that the board asked for last time was the apples to apples comparison. And I got 5 of them for everyone. Mark Dunkert helped reach out because he kind of knew the system and gave me some kind of lead to try to chase and get some more info from other people around the area. So I appreciate that because I don't know how this works.
Yeah.
This is Accurate Controls. It's basically a battery backup, which we don't have currently. So if the power ever goes out, we still have gained access into the station versus waiting for someone to show up that has a.
We don't have a generator on this?
We do, but it
it's selective on what it powers.
Oh, what systems it powers?
Yeah, it doesn't open all the garage doors right now. It only opens certain ones.
So,
Okay.
yeah. I asked for a keypad, key fob reader in the front because if someone, like Chief Hodds is out in the farm and he left his key fob out at the farm, he still has access to get into the fire station if he needs to, if we have a fire call. And those keypads are designated to person, so it's not one general key for everyone. It's one number per person. So you know who's coming and going still.
And that's a good safety system.
But the bulk of it is getting those guys to get here, because there's 2 doors that still need, the wiring's all ran, we need the doors terminated upstairs into the control panel. And again, I don't know anything on that.
One is the chief's door.
Yep, and the other one.
Isn't the wiring there?
Yeah, the wiring's
The wiring pad's all there.
It-
It just
it-
needs to
this-
be
yeah.
programmed, yeah.
So it needs that one in the, Mike Schmidt's office and my office, we share one. That one, the wiring is all there too.
Oh, okay.
So those 2 doors
That
just
one-
need programmed.
That one's programmed, it's just
It
that it
just doesn't
doesn't
work.
work right because of how it was put in. The striker doesn't, because it was put in after the building was built, so they had to do workarounds.
So this is what the Accurate Controls quote to do all that extra stuff.
And this is not cloud-based, right?
Correct, this is internal. So again, if we have a computer glitch, if we do this one and done like we are now, in 5 years or 7 years, if the computers need re-updated or the software needs updated, we're paying this again to
So
to
there would
redo the
be,
license on that.
there
at
would
least.
be updates on an annual basis?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's why we need a new system, we never did the updates.
Just a point, you can buy the licensing on like a 1 year, 2 year,
Yeah.
3 year, 5 year
Oh, okay.
basis.
Okay.
But you still would budget it annually essentially.
Right,
There's
as an
no-
operating
Yeah.
cost.
Either you
Yeah.
pay it up front or you pay it monthly, it's how
Yep.
board wants to pay for that bill.
Mhm.
So, that's accurate controls, is there any questions with this one? I guess, so we'll kinda keep apples and apples together. So then you got Arctech, it's got the blue header on it. This one kinda goes both ways, so they have an option A, an option B, and an option C. These guys were here on site, they came in, they were very impressed that, oh, we shouldn't have to do a lot of work here, because everything's pretty much ran, we just have pretty much downloading the computer software and programming essentially, and a couple, spending the day here testing. So they would also be using the same premises system, but they'd be transferring the license and updating the computers for us, getting that program onto a new computer that we have. So option A is essentially what we have, just updated, what Accurate Controls is pretty much giving us now. Option B, at the top, on page 4, it says Cloud Managed System. So that's pretty much, they put into the cloud, you can access it through your phone or online somehow. If you're at home, you can access it to give anyone access whenever you want. Say we got vendors coming in at 6:30 and no one's down here, and it's a trusted vendor, we can unlock a door or a set time frame for doors for these guys to get in to work on stuff.
So the total price for that is $12,700. Does that include, is there any monthly recurring fee included in that?
They didn't tell me, and I've tried reaching out to them, because if you notice on the other cloud-based ones,
Yeah,
they
I got
have
it.
it all quoted
Yeah, I
in.
got it all.
So, and this is just me being honest, I wasn't overly impressed with these guys, because if you look at the price of this versus some of the other ones,
It's
later on
higher.
that we talked, it's higher.
Yeah, it's higher.
And this guy was very adamant, they just said, you guys have everything done. I don't have to really do much. He's like, it'll just be me and it's a programming thing.
But he's more than other people.
And option C, don't even look at that. I mean, you can, it's why it's here, but it's updating it's getting the license reactivated, plus the doors and the battery backup system working. But it's bare bones what we need from this guy.
Yeah, it looks like option C doesn't really address one of the major issues that we have, which is the hardware, the control hardware, the PC is
Mhm.
basically end of life.
Yep,
And so we
correct.
could run it, but we still have that risk of it going down relatively soon.
So, page 7, it kind of gives you the comparisons between all three packages if you want to kind of see them more in a more condensed, it's the very last page in that packet. It's a condensed view on everything for system reliability, remote access. But this is our fire district, so you guys can make the options that you want. I'm just giving you information, best I can.
What's their lead time?
No one really told me. There's a couple of them that said they could be here in a couple months.
Okay, yeah,
But
just let us know
everyone
who
pretty
that
much
is.
said that it would be a day to 2 days of work and they're done.
Yeah, and what I'm looking for is when you say accurate controls, it would be a while.
Mhm.
So it helps me not only to compare costs, but the timeline for them to begin installation.
They were very, like I said, I'm still waiting on emails back from this company. So to me, their Acre Controls is very upfront, very quick on the emails.
Responsive?
Yeah. So Hard Tech, they're busy, I'm sure everyone is. So that might also play in fact of their lead times, is the way I'm looking at it. If you can't send me an email, how responsive are you gonna be to actually install?
Yeah, or if there's a problem.
So I take it both ways.
Okay.
Permar, it's the same one as last time. It's a cloud-based system. It's what I had originally. My work deals with these guys. We go through Permar, we have no issues. If we have issues, they're usually on site the next day.
And because it's cloud-based, it's $5,550, but then the recurring costs monthly would be,
$120.
right, $1,440 annually.
Correct.
So that's a total of $6,990. But then after that, would the cost continue to be, we wouldn't pay the $5,000 every year, we would just
Correct.
pay this ongoing recurring service?
$120. Yep.
Okay.
So that is getting, there's nothing stored on a computer with the cloud-based down here, so Microsoft decides to update the security systems, it doesn't affect us. Permar deals with it on whatever cloud system that they have.
Is the sealed lead acid battery, is that,
That's a battery backup.
that's the battery backup?
Yep.
So if we lose power, we can still operate this?
Yep.
Okay.
And it's, I found out that it's going through the like cell phone.
So
too,
for
the cloud.
Verizon?
No, it's through whatever company they.
Oh, they
go through.
choose?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's how they,
Then we would pay the phone company then too?
no, that's the
No, that's
$120.
That's
part of that.
120, okay.
Does the
Um,
monthly recurring service, like, is that, it's $120 for a year, a few years, and then do we expect an increase like 2, 3 years from now, or have you not
They
seen it?
never really said
I would always
anything.
expect an increase.
That's why I would assume, that's why I wonder, if we get into monthly recurring service, how long would it be?
Our last discussions, I think, we were hesitant to go with monthly recurring.
Well, yeah,
but-
I think we have to decide if we want cloud-based or if we want this hardwired thing
Yeah.
that Accurate can do, so that's probably the first question.
Yeah.
So then, I guess you could look at either one. Randercom is one of the last guys I had here. So if you open it up, there is, so the last two guys, they, from my understanding, again, I'm trying to go through muddy waters here with these guys. They talk Spanish when I'm talking to them. But the way it sounds is the computer boards that they install upstairs are internally housed, but they have cloud access capabilities, so you can still log into your computer at home. But it's through, they would have to go through our IT group that we have here.
Oh,
That's
loyalty?
Loyalty.
When you talk about upstairs, do we have the bandwidth, the electrical bandwidth upstairs to do that? Because I'm a little.
Those, so no one seemed to have an issue with it,
Oh,
because those are right next to each other. And again, that's one of those things that I don't know anything about. I don't know internet, I
it's
don't,
too bad Dave Gallops isn't here because he knows electricity.
Well,
I'm a mechanical guy, so.
I was up there, I would think that it would be,
There's enough
it would be
juice.
fine.
I
yeah.
just get nervous because when we took the
Oh,
other
Kevin.
Kevin through,
Kevin
I thought he
Peters.
was gonna have a stroke when he saw that the radio system was on an extension cord.
Yeah.
That's why I always get a little nervous about upstairs. It's not on an extension cord
inspection
anymore.
day.
Yes,
But,
this is in the mechanical room, so
Oh,
it's like
okay.
all,
Yeah,
Okay,
it's all,
but there's,
Naomi's been through it.
oh, okay.
but there's two quotes. This guy breaks it down pretty, to me, seems to be pretty painless. This guy has also said that, and I'm sure all these guys can do it, but this guy's pitching for future business, is that he can update the camera system when we need it, that's installed. He can incorporate everything all in one at a future moment. And I told him just to hold off, just to get me what I'm asking for.
Yeah.
So, it's the internal based cloud access, so internet access for the $7,900. But then because I have OCD and he apparently matches with me, there's a cable wiring mess up there, which you can attest to. He said that if we wanted to, he would clean that up, but that's also
So
an
that's an
additional charge.
extra, okay.
That's a $1,300 charge.
That's not the system.
Yeah, he decided to put that in there though,
Okay.
so do with that as you will. He was very knowledgeable, I'll give him that, and made me feel like they would be able to take care of that stuff. And I told these guys to give me all the information on everything, and that's what you guys have, is all my emails. And then you have this tech systems. I believe he was the one when Assistant Chief Donovan was here. So she had some questions, he was willing to walk through them. I think he was here for like 2 hours.
Yeah, he was here
He
like
was
the
here for a
longest.
couple hours walking through the building, answering questions and stuff. I was very comfortable with this guy. Come to find out that it's also the internal cloud system. Come to find out, talking through him, that they do work for Tyson's. They hold account at Tyson's. They hold
So
accounts
they're in
for,
town.
yeah, they
Yeah.
hold accounts for a lot of companies here in town. They are also doing a fire station.
Yeah, where did you say? Oh, Harrison.
Harrison.
Yes, they're doing
They're
Harrison's
doing
fire station.
Harrison's fire station. They do other fire departments. It sounds like they're all over. But with this, he had it, it's obviously quoted out $5,100. He redid the quotes a couple times because it came on site and he's like, oh, I overquoted you. So let me pull that back because you have more equipment here than I actually thought you had. So he pulled the original quote back, knocked it down, sent it back. The thing is, we could probably use, I'm quoting, probably use the key fobs we have currently, but because of how dated that system is, each one of those key fobs have numbers stored to them. It would take absolutely forever to get all that information off that computer. So I had him quote just new key fobs, only 50 of them. So in order for him to be able to get all those off, he'd probably be down here for a day just to get the data off that computer to transfer it over, which might double that cost for brand new key fobs. And that's not saying that once we get the old key fobs back, we can reuse them, put them back into the mix. I don't know. But he sent me absolutely this National Defense Authorization Act. He sent me the whole ball of wax of, they're a US company and all the products that they use are US made with global components, and it's a lot of reading if you really want to get techie into it.
Now, help me understand, is this another cloud-based system?
Yes.
So I think the question that we have is, are we comfortable with cloud-based systems? Or do we want a hardwired system? Because that would inform our finalists.
Cool. Wasn't the tech one, it was on-site and cloud-based both, wasn't he?
The physical cards are on site,
Site,
but it's
right.
cloud
But you can
access,
access it through the cloud, yes.
But there's also a backup battery. There's
Yes,
no
everything.
ongoing monthly cost?
There is an ongoing monthly cost from this guy right in the middle of the sheet,
$61.47, but that's only
$61.49.
$472.
And on the right side, because it's not lined out evenly, so the 5,200, I'm just rounding, 5,200 is for the communications, the door modules, which he's gonna have to swap out, the battery backup, and then the keypad, key fob reader for the front of the fire station. And then the $472 is for the 50 key fobs. And then right in the middle of there's a $62 for the monthly.
Okay, so that's, I gotta do that.
But again, that's good for all the updates. We don't have a computer getting bogged down by the system. We don't have to worry about a computer update crashing stuff.
Okay, are we comfortable with a cloud-based system or not?
I can get more quotes if you guys
No,
want.
no, no, no. It's fine. This, well done.
Yeah, this is really good. I feel more comfortable, the 6149 seems more reasonable for that kind of ongoing than the 120.
Yeah.
Just kind of right off the bat.
I have no objection to a cloud-based.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody have an objection to a cloud-based system?
I wouldn't have a clue.
Don't ask this side.
I wouldn't either, I'm gonna have to rely on
Okay,
whoever.
on the youngins.
I'm with those guys.
Okay, so I don't have, I think I don't have an objection to a cloud-based system.
With,
You want to explain a little bit,
Yeah,
just in
with-
simple terms?
with the cloud-based stuff, to me, because I'm kind of around that age, but I'm still navigating the waters here, the cloud-based stuff is kind of nice because if someone calls up one of the chiefs who goes, you know what, I quit, I can't handle it anymore, no one has to go anywhere. You can just log on, whoever's got the access, and disable stuff.
Yeah,
So-
and we've had to do that.
So it's a security thing, I guess. If we do just the internal where we can't access it outside of the fire station, someone makes a phone call, all right, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, someone's gotta wake up, come down here, log into the computer system and deactivate stuff. Or if someone needs in the shop because they need a wrench to work on something and no one's around, they can send a text and I can go in there, or someone else can go in there and give them access for 3 hours. And then the access is pulled after that 3-hour span. Otherwise, if it's internally on the computer, you can give them the access, but someone has to physically be here. And then take the access away. So it's,
And also like keeping the system update.
Yeah.
I mean, more likely a technician have to come down here, make sure that things are working in good shape, or if it's in the cloud, for the most part, they should be able to.
Just download.
Like, check those updates, do those, recalibrations and stuff from afar. And of course, come down here if it's more like, the one of the fob areas isn't working or something.
and they can troubleshoot too,
Yeah, and see
more or
what's
less
going
on
Oh, yeah, they
the,
can dial in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'Cause Loyalty does that
yeah.
a lot.
Well, and we do that with QuickBooks too, with CLA. They come in
They-
and.
Yeah, they can go.
When we have an issue,
screen
they can
share
come in,
and-
well, and they can check our books quarterly too. So we've given them access. So the question becomes then, I think we're kind of leaning toward cloud-based. And I kind of like this tech group. The issue becomes money. So we have $593 $5. Now, you just told us you save $2,500 a year, so that brings us down to finding $3,439.05.
Okay, cool. Do you have the post-it note that says how much?
no, I don't,
I thought I gave that to you.
that was like 2 months ago.
I thought it was on there this morning. So
I can go check it out.
if we take the computer upgrade that we put in the budget last year, that we put in because we thought we were gonna have to buy new computers this year, but then Mark found us that really good deal. And I think there's like a computer upgrade and then the computer, getting new computers. I thought I told him there was like 22,000, 2,200. 2,200, sorry, oh my God.
It's like
2,200.
2,200.
Yes, 2,200, I was trying to do both of them in my head. $2,200-ish in the budget for computer upgrading kind of stuff. Oh, 2,680. So that's budgeted
That brings
towards
it
like,
down to less than 1,000.
Is that what was budgeted for this year or stuff from last year that we ended up just not spending so?
it was budgeted for this year.
Okay.
Because
But
when
we
we did
don't
the
need to spend
budget,
it.
when we did the
Right,
budget, we
yeah.
thought we were gonna have to wait till this year to buy the computers, but then we had the money in the budget last year when Mark found us that really
Got it,
good deal
okay.
on computers.
So we're close, we're about $800.
I just was looking at, for the tech security systems, their yearly cost of $737.88.
I rounded it up.
I just had some numbers. And then I'm looking at what the premises support, and I believe this is a 1 year, oh, that's even a little bit more. It's $2,700 through Accurate. Who else had a premises system? $2,450 through Arctech. Right around that 2,600, I think I used in my calculation. But 1 year of the premises licensing, I believe that's the 1 year cost, would actually give us 3 years of the monthly monitoring on this tech system.
Yeah.
Now, costs will go up,
Right.
but also, I mean, the licensing
But we're
itself will
starting
also
at a
go
lower
up.
threshold.
But it comes, it comes lower. So I feel, just based on those, I'm becoming more comfortable in thinking about this and saying like, okay, this tech systems proposal seems pretty strong on that point.
And you worked with them, you didn't see them, or?
No,
He
I-
did.
Oh,
I
he
He was here too,
So-
but
I've
I,
been living down here with these guys,
Yeah.
the ones that want to come down.
Yeah.
he's done most of it, but I happened to be here,
Mhm.
they happened to come in the office when I was,
Yeah, and
There.
when she's here, I try to get them into that, because that's where that computer is in Heather's
Oh, okay.
office.
And they've been responsive and,
Tech has one, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's why I said, he gave me an original quote, and I was like, well, how about I can get you down here, and just in case I'm missing something, because I don't know this system, I don't know how these systems operate. And he's like, yeah, let's plan for Friday. So I met him down here, we walked through it, and he's like, I have to redo your quote. And by Monday, I had a new quote. And then he only had one package of key fobs, which was only, divide that out by 5, $90 or whatever it was. And I asked him again, I'm like, no, let's, just so no one has to do the math, please just add the 50 key fobs that we originally talked about. So it was like Tuesday, he sent me that email with a, adjustment, so he sent me 2 revised,
what I'm hearing is we somewhat have come to consensus on this. So I would entertain a motion, because we found money within the budget, good job, to contract with Tech Security Systems to upgrade the fob system, or replace the fob system, however we want to say that.
You motioned that?
No, I
Oh.
don't I'm
She
entertaining a motion.
Entertaining, I was like.
I'm entertaining.
No, I
a
think
motion.
you could motion, 'cause
Jazz
you
hands.
can vote too.
I would,
so.
I vote, but I don't prefer to, as the chair, to make a motion, when there's a bunch of people sitting around the
That's
table. And all talk at once.
I'm looking at it.
it's a lot of information. And that's, when we were talking about the cloud-based system, Heather and I did make the point, like, there's some people that are hesitant on the cloud-based system. He's like, excellent, let me send you some information.
Yeah.
And that's where all that other stuff came in.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
again, like I said, he was very responsive on stuff, so.
And Heather and I were just talking too, how long this company's been in business. She just looked it up and they've been in business since 1993.
No,
So
so,
they've been out there quite a
I
while.
never really thought of that,
And
yeah.
they also, I like the fact that they have customers here in Ripon.
yeah.
Tyson.
They they already have customers in the area, so if they're coming, we can always go, hey.
And it's generally like how we do our Hearst equipment and stuff, and the air filter or the air compressor maintenance. They'll call us when they're in the area, hey, we're in the area around this time, do we have time to, can we schedule time to stop in and check it out? So I think it saves us on service calls.
Does. Saves them sending
Yeah.
somebody,
Once, yeah.
yeah.
But that's kind of a nice thing, going back to that cloud-based system, hey, we're gonna be in the area. There might be one person here, or there might be no one because we're out on a call. Well, we can unlock the system where we're at.
Are these the guys that would clean up your
No.
wiring? No.
I'm well, because of what they do, I'm sure they would if we asked them to.
I was just, somebody's gonna make a motion, we're gonna vote.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say if they're gonna clean up the wiring, have them do that too.
I can get a quote for it after, while they're here, or prior to that, I can send them pictures, I can get another quote to clean that
Well,
wiring
let's
system
take
up.
care of this
Yeah.
first, and then we'll look at that later.
Right.
Discussion.
Exactly. I-
Yeah, well, we do have to, I didn't know it's a mess, so we do have to look at it up.
Yeah, it's,
It's okay.
Is it wires everywhere?
You know, Dave Gallops could also look at it too and probably recommend somebody.
that might be, it'll be done locally
Yeah.
Yeah.
by someone that does know those systems. It's not this guy.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal from Tech Security Systems for our access control system updates.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Luke. Is there any further discussion?
The only note I'll make is,
Oops.
if we can get a report back on what's the monthly fee for how long that we'd be locked in that. So if it's a year or if it's
Can you pass
2 years,
that?
3 years, just so we can,
Budget
budget
for it.
accordingly for it.
Yeah. I also would, if you, if we can do 2 years right away, or 3 years right away, I feel
Lock it
like
in.
Upfront cost.
we may want to, and we might have to adjust and we'll have to reauthorize a more,
Well, that might be a different budget line too.
right, yeah,
But for software.
yep, yep,
or-
Well, if you lock in a monthly recurring one, then we just budget for it for 2-3
Yeah.
years, so.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
that's more than appropriate.
We should definitely ask that when we.
Yep. Okay,
Need to ask for yeas and nays? Yeah.
not yet.
Oh, okay.
I had a question.
I'm not your counsel, by the way, I'm just,
Are you being the?
That's why you put me
Are you
here.
being
I
the
know it's why
parliamentarian? All those in favor of contracting with Tech for the fob system, please signify by saying aye.
I,
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Oh, that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna thank you for all of your hard work on
It
this.
was like 2 or 3 months of digging through this.
I'm glad we finally got some
Yeah,
But it-
responses back
It's
too.
over.
You got some really good information.
Yeah.
Okay, now this is a little bit of a cryptic line, discussion of legal expenses. Von Riesen has reached out to me to ask about working with us on the legal expenses. So what I am asking you to do as an action item is to allow us to have Luke, he's an attorney, he's not our attorney,
Not
but
your
he's an
attorney.
attorney, to talk with them about what they can do for us. Because they were unwilling to talk to us before, but now, having read the Ripon Commonwealth, they are willing to talk with us about, fixing things.
and the current status, as I understand, is we had 30,000 plus invoices, 20,000 of so has been paid.
Yeah, 21 has been paid, but we've held back on about 10. That might have gotten their attention too. We said, don't pay it.
And I also won't discuss any of that, like, details about that here since it is an open meeting.
Okay.
But basically, just, yeah. If you want me or anybody, really, yeah, I think it's.
Well, I would not be the person.
I want to make a motion, but I want to think about
How to word it?
how to word it. I move that a representative of the fire district engages in discussions with Von Briesen about the billing issues that we've seen.
That's a nice
Holy Hannah. I'm gonna be taking that off the video, I'm just saying.
Please do.
Is there a second?
That sounded so good, I'll second.
Is there any further discussion?
He's not gonna make any, he's gonna bring it back to us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He's not gonna act unilaterally. Remember, attorneys are risk adverse, and he wouldn't do that.
And not providing any advice.
Right, because he's not our attorney.
Note that in the minutes.
He's not our attorney. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, motion passes. And then just a quick review, we'll be back here Thursday at
Tomorrow.
I thought it was Thursday.
No, we don't have any tomorrow.
It's Thursday.
I thought it was the 6th.
No?
No.
That's what we said
The
originally.
7th and the
This
20th.
is when the candidates were available.
We blocked out,
Oh.
we blocked out 2. We blocked out the 6th and the 7th.
Yeah.
for
Oh,
potential.
good, I can have a birthday now that I did everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Your
Oh, I won't have to buy a cake.
I think we just have to sing early. Are we ready?
It is Thursday, and candidates will be coming in and doing the writing test and a tour, and then we will adjourn and do roll call, or we'll do roll call, we'll call the meeting to order, roll call, and then we'll adjourn into closed session. There is no action going to be taken, but we will have a lunch here for us, so you don't have to worry about eating.
So it's 4 o'clock.
5
5
o'clock, and then it's 5 o'clock for us, for us.
Okay.
Never mind.
Because it took me a while to get this all, but we'll be here later because we have 2 stacked interviews. And then the next one, I think, is on
The
the
20th.
20th, which is a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Yeah, and that one will be at 5 o'clock also. And the notice went out, you should have all gotten the notice. So, and then I don't think this Riley number 1 will even be here then, right? No, okay. No. All right, future agenda items, I wrote down, we should have a discussion if we want to charge for lift assists. Because the EMS does, right?
Well,
John's saying yeah.
They tried.
They bill, right?
they bill, they don't order it as lift assist. They
bill for a call.
bill for care without transport.
Well, I think it's worth a discussion. Before we slide into budgeting, is there anything else anybody wants to have on the agenda that you can think of? Okey dokey. Now, the next regular meeting is June 2nd. We'll have 2 special closed session meetings prior to that. Okay?
Clarification for the meeting on the 20th, that also starts at 5. It's the
Yep.
same time. Thank you. Just wanted to make sure.
Yep. Well, it's been, I
Yep,
had
there
to
were
ask Mary
many,
for
yes.
clarification a few times. I was getting too many emails.
It was a lot.
I was getting messed up. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mark.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Tom. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okey dokey, we are adjourned, so I will see you all on Thursday.